The regular May 19th, 2014 meeting of the Robertson County Commission. I'm going to ask Reverend Martin Babb of the Springfield Baptist Church if he will come and lead us in the invocation, to be followed by the pledge to the flag. Please stand.
Father, we thank you for this time that we have to come together this evening. We first of all thank you for the many blessings that you give us. Father, there are also hurts and needs. We ask for special blessing on each one of them. We don't know what the person to our left or to our right or across from us has been through today or yesterday or this week or this month. But we know there are needs and hurts. There may be folks in this group tonight who are moving through the graduation time, whether it be kindergarten or high school or college. And those are all difficult times for parents. We ask a special. We are here together. We ask that you bless each one, give them some relief from the stress of the day as they work on the night's agenda. I did not mention our armed forces serving around the world. Please take care of them, keep them safe, bless the families. And as we move into the Memorial Day weekend, we actually thank you for those who have died so that we might be here tonight. The ultimate sacrifice, Father. Help us never to forget that. As we are enjoying our sales and our barbecues this weekend, help us to pause for just a moment to thank you and to thank them for their sacrifices for our freedom. It is in the name of your Son, Jesus, who paid the ultimate sacrifice for each one of us. Amen.
Amen. Flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, be careful. We'll ask Mr. George Will to help us with the sound system. That sounds better. Thank you, sir. Commissioners, if you'll press yes and confirm, you'll be entered in. There being 23 commissioners present, Commissioner Adcock is absent. I declare that we do have a quorum. Commissioners, you have in your packet or online the minutes from the April meeting. What's your pleasure? Minutes for April. Have a motion by Commissioner Baggett that they be accepted. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Very briefly, under communication, we signed today for the bond issue. We have Tom and Ashley McAnulty here with us tonight, and they'll be coming forward later on, but we are very pleased to have sold those bonds at a total interest rate of 2.9%, which is, I think, historically low. We're very, very pleased about that. Groundbreaking for the new Crestview Elementary School tomorrow at 1 o'clock. So please put that on your calendar, if at all possible, to come join us. We'll be breaking ground for the first elementary school built in Springfield since 1952. So this is a historic moment for the community. 1 o'clock tomorrow on Batson Parkway. The last date that I had for a tentative groundbreaking for the library was June 14. Am I hearing that correctly still? June? June 14th, which is also Taste of Country and the historic sections, with yard sale and so forth, but tentatively June 14th. What I have for Memorial Day calendar is 9 a.m. Greenbrier, at 10 a.m. at Memorial Gardens in Springfield, and then White House is at noon. Does anybody else have any other additions to the Memorial Day calendar, which is, of course, a week from Monday? Actually, it is next Monday. Sorry, next Monday, a week from today. Next are reports. And the first the chair has is from the Highway Department, 7.1. 7.2 is from our Veteran Service Officer. 7.3 is from Animal Services. 7.4 is the Trustees' Statement of Funds. 7.5 is the Financial Statement. 7.6 is the Fire Service. I think Commissioner Moore has recently been elected chair of that committee. Am I correct, Commissioner? Congratulations and thank you. 7.7 is from the Planning Commission. 7.8 is the inmate expense report. 7.9 is solid waste. 7.10 is from EMS. We remind you that this is National EMS Week, so when you see these brave men and women who come and collect us at some of the worst times in our life, say thank you to them. 7.11 is from the Gore McBain Public Library. 7.12 is the annual statement of the trustees' report from Ms. Sandra Head. And that is all the reports that the chair has. What is your pleasure? Have a motion to be received in order filed by Commissioner Jones. Or a second? Second by Commissioner Jackson. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no, so they are approved. We'll recognize now Commissioner Vogel for one omission that we had from the last meeting. Mr. Vogel is chairman of the nominating committee.
Mr. Chairman, Madam Clerks, fellow commissioners, ladies and gentlemen, audience, we did have one omission on our last, where we had one commissioner resign, replaced him, and Bill Gray resigned. And we missed putting Warren Corbin on the Beverage Committee in place of Bill Gray. If I can get a second on that.
Second by Commissioner Eden. All those in favor say aye. Aye. No, so Mr. Corbin is elected. Thank you, sir. We'll recognize now Mrs. Martha Wilkinson, who is our Director of Planning, for public hearing on planning and zoning. If you're here to speak in favor of or in opposition to any rezoning resolution, please stand and clearly state your name for the clerk, and you'll be given an opportunity to make a statement when the appropriate time comes. So, Ms. Martha.
We have 5 resolutions tonight. Excuse me. The first one is for Mr. Larry Lane. He has requested that 1.66 acres located on Shady Park Road, the 1st Civil District, the 1st Voting District, have a change of zoning from AG2 to R40, which is low-density residential district. The Planning Commission reviewed this at our last meeting and voted 9-0 to rezone this property.
Anyone here to speak to this resolution?
The second resolution is for Ms. Ruth Woodis. She is asking that 1.28 acres located on Callista Road, the 11th Civil District, the 2nd Voting District, have a change of zoning from AG2 to R40. The vote of the Planning Commission was 9-0 to rezone.
Anyone here to speak to this resolution?
The third resolution is from Mr. Steve L. Callis, Mr. Joe D. Armstrong, Ms. Kathy A. Mundy, and they're asking to rezone 4.41 acres located on Highway 31W, 15th Civil District, the 1st Voting District. They're asking for a change of zoning from AG2 to R40. The Planning Commission vote was 9-0 for rezoning.
Anyone here to speak to this resolution? Ms. Martha.
The fourth resolution is from Mr. Richard Woods. He is asking that 6.68 acres located on Orange Chapel Road, the 11th Civil District, the 8th Voting District, have a change of zoning from R30 from AG2 to R30, which is medium density residential district. The Planning Commission voted 9-0 for rezoning.
Anyone to speak to this resolution? Ms. Martha.
The fifth and final resolutions for Mr. Newman Redding. He is asking that 4.99 acres located on Bill Boss Road, the 11th Civil District, the 3rd voting district, have a change of zoning from AG2 to R30. Planning Commission's vote was 9-0 for rezoning.
Anyone to speak to this resolution? Public hearing is closed at this time, and we'll bring these resolutions back to the body. The chair will entertain a motion for the first category, which is category A. If Commissioner makes that, Commissioner DeOrio has made that resolution. The second by Commissioner Couts. Any discussion? This is approving those three rezoning resolutions under category A. Ready to vote? If you're in favor of these three resolutions, vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time.
Push yes first, or whatever your vote is.
There being 23 votes in favor, none opposed, one absent, I declare that resolution approved.
Bobby, what you want me to push?
Chair will entertain a motion for approval for resolutions 4 and 5. I have a motion by Commissioner Gregory. Is there a second? And a second by Commissioner Stubblefield. Any questions? If you're in favor of these two resolutions, vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time. There be 23 votes in favor, none opposed, one absent. I declare that resolution approved. Thank you, Ms. Marshall. I want to recognize now Commissioner DeOrio for amend the building codes for Robertson County. Commissioner Larry DeOrio, who's also a member of the Robertson County Planning Commission.
Mr. Mayor, Madam Clerks, Commissioners, audience, here to present resolution number 051914-042. It's a resolution to amend the building codes for Robertson County. If I can get a second, I'd like to speak to it.
Motion and a second by Commissioner Jackson. Commissioner DeOrio.
We were notified in January by the state of Tennessee that we were in need of doing mechanical and plumbing inspections along with our building inspections. We've got a resolution here tonight that covers that. And any questions? I know everybody's had a chance to look over this.
I got one, sir.
Commissioner Doris.
Hey, no. Is this still gonna be involved? Are we gonna be adding any more fees involved, or is this gonna be still coming under the same fees we already have in place?
Mr. Huffines, Mr. R.D. Huffines from the Planning Office.
Yes, sir, I think there'll be a resolution coming to you to amend some fees to that, yes, sir.
I think you'll find there'll be minimal in most jurisdictions that have already complied with the state's rules.
State set the fees too?
No, they do not. What we've suggested that we adopt has done away with the fee codes. That way we're not bound to have a certain amount.
Commissioner Eden.
Yes, sir.
Mr. DeOrio, who has done the mechanical and the plumbing inspections in the past?
In the past, it wasn't necessary by state law, which it is now. So a building inspector could do those cursory inspections. Just in the last couple of years, there have been some problems, and the state has decided that to do a plumbing inspection, you must be certified in plumbing, and to do a mechanical inspection, you must be certified a mechanical inspector.
And the mechanical would include heating and air and
Gas, pipe.
gas. And
Yes, sir.
Other questions? Commissioner Vogel.
If this don't pass tonight, Larry, what would the state do?
We've got two choices. We can do the inspections or they will. So those are the choices. That's kind of narrow and straightforward, but we can set our fees for our citizens and collect the money, or they can set the fees and they'll collect the money.
But somebody's gonna be doing this, right?
It will be done. It shall is the
We got
wording.
citizens there, they don't understand zoning, and we catch a lot of, fight, but the state puts stuff on us, it just, I don't understand.
Mr. Brown, do you have a question? Mr. Brown?
Sorry. Are we going to then, what's it going to cost us to, I assume, train our building inspectors? Are we having to hire inspectors now? In other words, what's the plan on actually implementing? It's one thing to vote to say, yeah, we're going to do it, and it's another thing to actually have the warm bodies to do it with.
Well, for the time being, and Mr. Huffines here, if he can correct me, but he is trying to do all the inspections in the county. At some time, we're going to have to look realistically and say we're probably going to have to grow. But for the time being, for the immediate time, I think the plan is to have him do mechanical plumbing simultaneously with the building, the framing inspection. So
the only additional cost we'll have is train. I assume we'll have to train. He'll have to get certification on this, so we'll have some certification issues. Thank you.
Mr. Jackson?
Is he already certified?
I'm certified in 3 of them. I like one more. I'm taking the test June 20. Hope I pass it.
we hope he does too.
Mr. Diorio, is it fair to say that these inspections are already being done in most of the cities in Robertson County, but not in the unincorporated areas?
Well, in most larger jurisdictions and medium size, it has been done. The state, in the last couple of months, has sent out a lot of letters to jurisdictions saying, which way do you want to go? Do you want to do the inspections, or do you want our inspectors to do it? It would be unfair to me to say that it would take a lot longer for the state to get out here, so I won't. But we have a choice. There are choices.
Yeah, I got one.
Mr. Doris?
If somebody wants to have the state to come out, they still have that option though, even if we pass this, right? They can still deal, if I prefer to deal with the state, then I had Mr. Hubbines, I can deal with the state, correct? I still have that option. I mean, that was a question asked to me and I need no one asked me.
I do not think so. I think if you have a question, if there's a concern about the inspector that does the inspection, you would have the right to have a hearing. But as far as hiring the state to come out and do,
Anybody in the state?
I don't know that they would do that if they're not taking care of this jurisdiction. Now, like I said, you've always got the right to question, but I think you would have to go through channels, have a hearing before the Construction Appeals Board of some sort prior. Did I answer your question?
Well,
I don't think that you can hire the state to come out and do your house. I think you would have the right to hire another inspector to give you peace of mind, but I don't know that they would be interested in coming to Cedar Hill, Adams, Greenbrier for one inspection.
And we have one other question. On the state codes we passed in 2012, my understanding the state hasn't even passed them codes yet, accepted them, adopted them yet. Is that true?
No, you have to, they have not, but you have to be within 7 years of the current code.
So we're
Any
actually
jurisdiction has to be within 7 years of the current code, and we needed to adopt. We could have adopted to 2009, but in a few years we'd be right back here going, we need to adopt the 2012. So
we're actually ahead of the state right now where we are, right? Because they haven't adopted them yet.
there's very, very minimal changes except for one that we voted out, which was sprinkler systems. So.
Other questions? Ready to vote? Question's been called for. If you're in favor of this resolution, vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time. There being 21 votes in favor, 2 opposed, and 1 absent, I declare that resolution approved. Thank you, Commissioner DeOrio. Under new resolutions, I'm going to recognize Commissioner Vogel for resolutions 1 through 4. Mr. Vogel?
Mr. Chair, Madam Clerk.
Fellow commissioners, ladies and gentlemen of the audience, this is coming as a surprise. Okay, I'm going to start with resolution 0519-14043. Right? Okay. This resolution is from the school system. It's a balanced budget where the mixed drink tax and all that has come in, and they've turned it to pay the expenses. Well, can I get a second and I'll explain?
Second by Commissioner Jackson.
Okay, this mixed drink tax, if I understood this right, this is just for 6 months, is that right?
I don't know the period of time. Now, they've already worked out.
1 quarter, I think.
Worked out an arrangement.
Well, that money hasn't never come in on the arrangement they worked out with the city, but this here is what's come in for the first quarter, I think, and this is a balanced budget.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Question.
Question has been called for. If you're in favor of this resolution, vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time.
Probably you better.
23 votes in favor, none opposed, and 1 absent. I declare that resolution approved. Commissioner Vogel.
Okay, resolution number 0519-14046.
I've got 4-4.
Hold on, let me find that. Oh, Mr. Couch, you gave me the wrong one, okay.
That's not better than your secretary.
Walter, you turn that thing off? This here's coming from the health department. It's a balanced budget, a revenue of $46,628, expenses of $45,628. I need a second on that.
Second by Commissioner DeOrio. Any discussion? Question's been called for. If you're in favor of this resolution, vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time. Commissioner Ray, are you still voting?
Yeah, I voted once, I'll try it again.
There we go. There being 23 votes in favor, none opposed, and 1 absent, I declare that resolution approved. Commissioner Vogel.
Okay, resolution 0519-14045.
Yes.
Good. This is not a balanced budget, but if you will, Mr. Chairman, to explain this, this is coming from circuit court. It's some money I think we're passing from one office to another one.
Yes, and it's through the which fund that's coming from, but it's a swap from circuit to general sessions.
General sessions and going to
Which I think
circuit
is
court.
computer oriented, because as
Yeah.
you'll see in the mayor's office as well, we've lost service on some of these very old computers, so we had to purchase new computers on pretty short notice. Let's see, there's a motion, get a second on that motion by Commissioner Haley. Any discussion? Ready to vote? If you're in favor of this resolution, vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time.
Okay, now resolution.
Let's see, Commissioner Gregory still voting?
After you
23
get her
votes
going.
in favor and none opposed and 1 absent, I declare the resolution approved. Commissioner Vogel.
Okay, resolution number 519-14047.
Vote six.
Got you again.
Hey man, he done me a, all right, okay.
Planning and zoning.
I like to apologize. I thought Bobby Couch was going to take care of this. Okay, we've got a balanced budget coming from a building permits of $8,000 revenue and expenses going to computers again. I guess the public's learning we're having to redo our computers. It is a balanced budget. Need a second on that.
Motion and second by Commissioner Couch. Any discussion? Seeing none, if you're in favor of this resolution, vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time. 23 votes in favor and none opposed, and one absent. I declare the resolution approved. Commissioner Vogel.
Okay. Now, I think it's 519-14044.
47.
You'd have to excuse us, we're on a budget committee. Somebody showed the public what we went through last budget meeting. Okay, we got again, it's not a balanced budget, but it's to do with computers coming from the, well, this is just where the county clerk's giving it to the circuit, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Brad?
Yes, sir.
This is taking it out of the county clerk's budget and it went to the circuit for the computers that we voted on 3 pages ago.
Okay, we've got a motion. Is there a second to that? Second by Commissioner Couch. Any discussion?
Question.
Question been called for. If you're in favor, vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time. Commissioner Vogel, I think that
I'd like to thank y'all.
23 votes in favor and none opposed, one absent. I declare that resolution approved. We recognize now Commissioner James Bowens of the Budget Committee for Resolution 6 through 10. And the first one the chair has, 48. Okay.
Mayor Bradley, County Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you resolution 0519-14048. It's a resolution amending the budget. And what this is from the, could I get a second?
Second by Commissioner Moore. Any discussion? This is the same thing with the computers in the trustee's office.
I move for adoption.
Question's been called for. If you're in favor, vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time. There being 23 votes in favor, none opposed, one absent, I declare that resolution approved. Commissioner Bowens.
Another resolution, 519-14049. It's another resolution, capped outlay, no, it's computers again, $2,000. Move for the adoption.
Have a second by Commissioner Jones. Any discussion? If you're in favor of this, vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time. Commissioner Stubblefield, are you still voting?
Thank you, sorry.
There being 23 votes in favor, none opposed, and one absent. Declare it adopted. Commissioner Bowens.
Another resolution, 0519-14050. This coming from Animal Control, and this is a line item for making contribution to them, and they want to have some pet beds.
Can I get a second on that motion? Second by Commissioner Diorio. This is money that people have donated to the animal shelter. This is all private contributions. Ready to vote? If you're in favor, vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time. Being 23 votes in favor, none opposed, and one absent, I declare that resolution approved. Commissioner Bowens.
Another resolution 0519-14051. This is coming from Animal Control again. No, sanitation. Sanitation. And this is recovery money from a building, convention center being burned.
Get a second on that motion. Commissioner Farmer, we lost the convenience center in Orlando back early in the winter. Ready to vote? If you're in favor of this resolution, vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm. Commissioner Bowens.
Another resolution, 0519-14052. This is coming from the jail. And could I get a second on this, and I'll explain it to you.
Second by Commissioner Jackson. Mr. Bowens?
What happened at the jail, they are relocating the telephone system. Right now, water is getting on the system, and so they're replacing it, a new location. It's money from that $10,000.
That went out for bid, they put it out for bid too.
Commissioner Hayes.
Where we have a problem with the location of the box, and then there's a shower.
Yes.
Get it sorted out.
Move the box. Ready to vote? If you're in favor of this resolution, vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time. 23 votes in favor, none opposed, and one absent. I declare that resolution approved. Thank you, Commissioner Bowens. I will recognize now Commissioner Bobby Couch, the Budget Committee, for resolution approving Robertson County's half of the PEG channel, or channel Comcast Channel 3. City of Springfield bought software back several months ago, and this is half the cost of that, which will keep commission meetings on Channel 3. Commissioner Couch.
Mayor, Madam Clerk, fellow commissioners, honored guests, I'd like to present to you Resolution 051914053. It's a resolution to pay the City of Springfield half of the fees for the new station that broadcasts our commission meeting.
You get a second by Commissioner Garner. Any discussion? Question been called for. If you're in favor of this resolution, vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time. There being 19 votes in favor, 4 opposed, 1 absent, I declare that resolution approved. Commissioner Couch.
Present Resolution 051914054. It's a resolution amending the budget for the fiscal year. This is a balanced budget amendment, I believe.
For schools.
For the school.
Second by Commissioner Jones. Any discussion? Seeing none, if you're in favor of this resolution, vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time. There being 23 votes in favor, none opposed, and 1 absent, I declare that resolution approved. Thank you, Commissioner Couch. I recognize Commissioner DiOrio for the first of 2 resolutions, surplus property.
Presenting Resolution 051914055. It's a resolution to declare surplus property for the Sheriff's Department. If I can get a second, I'll
Second by Commissioner Jackson. Any discussion? Question's been called for. If you're in favor of this resolution, vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time. Commissioner Spears, are you still voting? There being 23 votes in favor, none opposed, and 1 absent, I declare that resolution approved. Commissioner DiOrio.
Resolution 051914056, surplus property again for the sheriff.
Second by Commissioner Hayes. Any discussion? Seeing none, if you're in favor of this resolution, vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time.
Vote yes.
Commissioner Eden, are you still voting?
Don't vote yes.
Commissioner Garner, still voting?
Yes, and we'll confirm.
There being 23 votes in favor, none opposed, and 1 absent, I declare that resolution approved. We recognize now Commissioner Betsy Gregory for a resolution in regards to the transfer of the Highland Crest College property to the Tennessee Board of Regents. Commissioner Gregory.
Mayor Bradley, Madam Clerks, fellow commissioners, and honored guests. I have resolution number 051914057. It is a resolution to transfer the Highland Crest College campus property to the State Board of Regents for continuation as a facility of higher education.
Get a second. That motion. Second by Commissioner Couch. The chair would interject that for several weeks City of Springfield and I have been talking with Dr. Faulkner, the president of Allstate, and legal representatives from the Tennessee Board of Regents about something that we have long anticipated, and that is for the county and the city to be free of any ongoing financial obligations as far as Highland Crest College is concerned. It was never Robertson County's intent to be in the college business long term or to have the burden of that $250,000 per year of operating cost. And I think now, especially with the governor's Drive to 55 program, where basically beginning in 2015, an associate's degree will be within the reach of virtually anyone in Tennessee who wants one, that the timing was right and the stars lined up for us as a good time for the Board of Regents to take possession of that building. So hopefully we'll have this done by July 1st. I'm not sure about that. This is the first step for us to formally make the request. I want to make sure that everybody was clear as to what we were doing here. Any questions?
Yes, sir. So who will Ball State and LCP be the only ones that will offer classes there? Or we have the opportunity for Rebecca to come up, or Tennessee State, and offer classes once Board of Regents get control of the building?
Yeah, the Board of Regents will decide which schools will utilize it. I think what you'll see there is an increasing program on Ball State's side, because they're expecting a 30% enrollment increase when this project takes on. And Austin P has committed to using the resources that they formerly had in Dixon. I don't know if you're aware of this, but their program in Dixon has gone away since Freed Hardeman has now purchased the facility at the Renaissance Center. So I think you'll see an increase in the Austin P program there, and then it'll just be a matter of how much space the Board of Regents can allocate to the various schools. But what this resolution does is guarantee that for the foreseeable future there'll continue to be higher education classes offered there. Commissioner Horn.
Was this the plan from the outset?
When we entered into this 3-year lease, we were fortunate that Northcrest stepped up and paid for years 1 and 2 operating costs. That was a $500,000 contribution. Then the county and city was basically responsible for year 3. So this gets us through the end of year 3, and this should end any of our financial obligations. Other questions or comments? Questions have been called for. If you're in favor of this resolution, vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time. There being 23 votes in favor, none opposed, and 1 absent, I declare that resolution approved. Thank you, Commissioner Gregory. Commissioner Couch, for 2 resolutions. First one, the county self-funded health insurance plan, which is something that the Personnel Committee has dealt with at great length. Commissioner Couch.
Mr. Mayor, Madam Clerk, fellow commissioners, honored guests, I'd like to present to you Resolution 051914058. This is a resolution to approve the county self-funded health insurance plan. If I can get a second.
Second by Commissioner Moore. Mr. Couch, do you want to comment on this, or?
Well, does anybody have any questions?
Anybody has any questions? Mr. Bolton's here. You can make him a member of the body if you'd like. David Bolton's here. Have a motion to make David a member of the body. Second by Commissioner DeOrio. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. So, Mr. Bolton, if you'll come up. Of course, we have 3 members, Commissioners Garner and Eden and Brown, that are on the Personnel Committee. But if you will, come up and briefly summarize the action that the Personnel Committee took in terms of self-funded. Mr. David Bolton.
Yes, sir.
It's coming to us with the approval of all the Personnel Committee.
Yes, sir.
All 5.
Yes, sir. The committee looked at it this year, and I hope you understand you have a very competent committee that works on this every year. We've grown and grown, and the knowledge has grown, and I've enjoyed working with them. It's not often, or not always, that you can take an opportunity where you have a situation and it can be a good decision. Changing to self-funding can either be done when it's the right time or it's the only opportunity you have. This is the right time for Robertson County. In the past, we've had large claims that have taken up more than our premium that we've paid to the carriers, over 100% several times. That has changed in the last few years. Our loss ratios are low enough that we can have an opportunity to save money into an escrow account for future years. Just so you understand, We have not increased the level of risk this year. We have a stop loss that stops the specific on individuals and the aggregate for the whole group that is within a very close margin to the total premium we would have paid whether the claims were paid or not. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? We were going to pay the premium in an equal amount. And our opportunity is, if our claims come in low like they have been the last few years, we can bank some money. The trustee has already set up an escrow account, which will be just like this, kind of like your fire hydrant fund, where the money will stay in there to be used for claims in future years. Any questions?
Commissioner Corbin?
Yes, sir.
Is the stop loss through that separate insurance policy?
What we've done is all through Blue Cross. The administration, and there's a very large advantage by buying the stop loss through Blue Cross, and let me explain it real quickly, because it's probably a little bit of extra premium than what we would have to pay. But in a situation like this, if we were to have a very large claim come in that was in excess of our individual stop loss of $100,000, let's say an individual had a $300,000 claim, and we had our specific coverage through another carrier, we would have to pay the entire claim and then file with that carrier to be reimbursed. By having it through Blue Cross, through the same carrier, our liability stops at $100,000. We don't have to pay it and then get reimbursed. They immediately pick it up, which is a tremendous advantage for cash flow. But it's all through Blue Cross.
Commissioner Haley?
Yes.
Commissioner Diorio?
These things run in cycles.
Yes.
Historically. Why wouldn't we do this always?
We hope we will. We hope we will. When we came out of the state, it's been a long time ago, I don't know how many of you were on the commission at that time, we were able to save a significant amount of money. I'm not trying to ignore you. Significant amount of money, and by that increase our contributions to the employees to help us as far as retention. But our claims after that got very high. We were able to make it through that, and now our claims, and as you know, when your claims are high, your next year's premiums are based on claims and expenses, so it continues to grow. We've gotten to a better position. So now our premiums have kind of been built up, and with our better outlook for claims, it's a good time to change to self-funded. And Mr. Diorio, the hope is this is where we'll stay. But we had to get to the right.
Years that we have to use that, then that option goes away.
I'm sorry?
If we have 2 years that we exceed that magic number that Blue Cross picks up, then this option goes away.
No, we get a renewal every year on our stop losses. So every year we'll get a new.
So they will change it accordingly.
Exactly, yes.
Mr. Corbin?
I think with the renewal on the catastrophic insurance coverage would
Increase.
go up. The
Yes, it
premium
would.
on that would increase.
Yes, they will. And the limit.
And the limit.
Right.
Mr. Moore?
My question is, now who mans this? Because right now, the county, the size that we are, we do not have an HR department. So who mans the insurance if we're self-insured, and who's?
As far as what function, it's still done through Blue Cross. It's really very transparent, very similar to what we had on a fully insured basis. There are a few extra steps for the finance department in that they'll get a weekly claims run with names on it. They'll just have to make sure those are still employed, but the work level is not going to increase that much at all. That was one thing that we were, believe me, questioned very hard about, because I know she's stressed anyway.
Other questions or comments?
Are you, Dave, you still gonna have the different options for the employee to take under the plan, HSA and?
We maintained the exact same options, the exact same benefits, with the exception that under the Affordable Care Act, a few of our benefits had to actually increase. In other words, co-pays had to accumulate toward the out-of-pocket deductible. But other than that, they stayed the same. We do have the intention, and we have notified the employees that next year we will eliminate one of our plans because it's going to run into the rule where the benefits are too rich.
Other questions? Ready to vote? Mr. Haley?
Would there be a chance that we would eventually co-op with somebody else using this plan? Self-insure with them?
Probably not.
Question's been called for. If you're in favor of this resolution, vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time.
Thank you.
There being 23 votes in favor and none opposed and one absent, I declare that resolution approved. Commissioner Couch.
I'd like to present resolution number 051-914059. This is a resolution authorizing the issuance of one or more bonds in excess of $5 million. This reissuance is going to save us around $350,000. I'll get a second.
Second on that. Have a second by Commissioner DeOrio. We have Ashley and Tom McAnulty here. If you would like to make them members of the body, if you have a question. Have a motion. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Jackson. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. So Ashley, you and Tom are now members of this body. And in case anyone, you might give them a summary of what we're doing here, Ashley.
Mayor Bradley, Madam Clerk, Commissioners, and members of the audience. Tonight I come before you to seek approval of a resolution to refund the county's 2005 bond issue. There are 4 maturities, 2016, 2023, 2024, and 2025 that are at a higher interest rate that are available for a refunding for savings only. We're not proposing to extend the debt. We're not proposing to restructure it. We simply would issue bonds to pay the prior bonds off and to reduce the interest rate to a lower interest rate. The previous bonds were at a 3.978%, and in the current market, if the bonds were sold today, we project that it would be around a 2.573%. So it's a good savings for the county. We would deposit in an escrow the funds to pay off the prior debt, and we've received state approval through that process, and I have those documents available for anyone who'd like to review them. It meets the acceptable benchmarks, and it actually exceeds those benchmarks. You'd save in the projected current market around 18% of your refunded interest. So it's a good opportunity for the county to save money. I think, as Commissioner Couch described, we're looking right now at about $350,000 total savings if we can achieve that in the market when we get ready to sell the bonds.
Any questions for Mr. McAnulty?
Question.
No question? Question has been
Want to
called.
save you money.
Seeing no opposition to the question being put, if you're in favor of this resolution, vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time. There being 23 votes in favor, none opposed, one absent, I declare that resolution approved. Any old business to come before this body? Seeing none, I'm going to recognize Commissioner Garner for 2 matters of new business in regard to the library. Commissioner Jonathan Garner.
Mr. Mayor, Madam Clerks, fellow commissioners, ladies and gentlemen in the audience, bring to your attention what is an unnumbered resolution, but resolution to approve construction to bid of Bomar Construction for the Gorham McBain Public Library.
The motion, is there a second? Second by Commissioner Doris.
I believe this is a resolution that was passed out by Ms. Ballard before the meeting.
Everybody clear on what we're doing here? Approving the contract. Any discussion? Question's been called for. If you're in favor of this resolution, vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time. There being 23 votes in favor, none opposed, and one absent, I declare that resolution approved. Commissioner Garner.
Say it's a long time, took a long time to get here, but it's here. Wonderful.
Commissioner Garner.
Bring to your attention an unnumbered resolution to change the name of the Gorham McBain Public Library to Stokes Brown Public Library.
And a second to that motion by Commissioner Eden.
Who did this come to us from?
This came from the Board of Trustees of the library. And I will say there was some healthy discussion, but in consideration that both the county and the city operate and maintain the library is brought, and I believe the city is taking up this resolution tomorrow. But as I understand it, I don't know the position of the city.
I have not discussed this with anyone in Springfield, so I don't know what their position may be. This comes to us from the library trustees.
Question?
Commissioner Stubblefield.
Why are we changing the name? What is Stokes, I'm sorry, I don't know who Stokes Brown is or what that is.
There's some strong consideration, and I will say, as a commissioner, I serve on the board of trustees, and I abstain from the vote in consideration for tonight. But to answer your question, there's considerations for what the Stokes Brown Trust has done on a cumulative basis for the library, donations, etc., and them being the a significant contributor over the years, is recognition of what they have done for the library.
Chair will note that Cindy Sneed, who is the board chair, is present, as well as Chris Hall, who's the library director. If you'd like to hear from those two ladies, we can make them members. They would have more information about why the board arrived at that decision, but I'll just put that out there for you. Commissioner Brown.
Define significant.
As in precise
or close
funds?
Yeah, I don't know if significant's 10,000 or 10 million.
I don't want to misquote. I'd have to defer to Ms. Sneed, who will probably.
You want to make a motion? You want to make a motion by Commissioner Stubblefield and second by Commissioner Wilson that these two ladies be made members of the commission. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Cindy, if you and Chris will come up, please. Maybe you can shed some light on the extent of the Stokes Brown Foundation's contribution toward the library. More exact terms. This is Ms. Cindy Sneed, who is board chair, and Ms. Chris Hall, who is library director. Cindy?
Thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak with you. The Stokes and Sarah Brown Foundation is really the impetus for what got our fundraising started. Right now we have around 3.9, right at $4 million. With their contributions, they will have given us about $1 million, with the anticipation of a significant contribution to come. In lieu of that, we felt it would be a wonderful way to remember Stokes Brown and the legacy that he's leaving for Springfield and Robertson County.
Thank you.
So that is why we brought this to you. And ultimately, we know that it is the decision of both the county and the city. But we wanted to explain to you why we brought this to you.
Thank you very much.
Other questions? Commissioner Eden.
Ms. Sneed, will it require an official approval by the city also?
Yes,
something similar to
we'll be
this?
doing that tomorrow.
Okay.
We'll be going to them tomorrow for the same request.
Other questions? Question's been called for. So if you're in favor of this resolution, vote yes and confirm. If you're opposed, vote no and confirm at this time.
Airspace.
Well, Jonathan.
There being 23 votes in favor, none opposed, and one absent, I declare that resolution approved. Any? Ms. Sneed, yes.
I want to say how grateful we are to the Robertson County Commission for your support of the library. It has been a long time coming, and I think you'll be so proud of the facility once it comes about. It's going to be such an asset to everyone in our community. Thank you again. It takes a village, and I want to thank all the board members and the community that have been such
I was thinking about naming it every year.
Anything else under new business? Seeing none, Commissioner Jones will recognize you for the election of notaries.
Mr. Speaker, all your commissioners, you have before you a list of 17 Robertson County citizens who are requested to be appointed to the board. Each of them is qualified and approved to make this one.
Have a motion for approval, second by Commissioner Doris. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Remind you one more time, see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock on William Batson Parkway for our groundbreaking ceremony. Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn. And I had that by Commissioner Diorio, second by Commissioner Vogel. All those in favor say aye. We stand adjourned.
I'm done.